It's Life FM, Maz for the drive home, and very excited because we're actually starting a brand new segment right now. This is a building segment, something we haven't done on this show before, but I'm really keen to start chatting about. We're joined by Nico and Jake from Dornford Building Group. Guys, welcome.
Thank you, Maz. Pleasure to be here.
Awesome, Maz. It is awesome to be on Life FM.
So good to have you guys in the studio. We're chatting about building, obviously, and answering some of those typical questions around building. Today, we're actually going to start off with design and then build versus designing and building. Before we get into the topic, though, and by the way, if you've got any topic suggestions, you want to know something about building, let us know. You can text through. You can remain anonymous, 0430 25 1079. Before we get into it, though, Nico, how are you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about your experience with Dornford Building Group and your experience in building in general.
Yeah, sure thing. I joined the team probably just over 4 years ago now. So for me, I actually come from a corporate services background. So very little to do with building before starting here at Dornford, but joined the team with Jake, and I'm the business manager. So I look after everything that happens in the office, all of the processes, and making sure that the business runs really well.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, because I guess, like any business, even though it's building and construction, it still needs to have the accounts and, all of the systems running properly for it to be viable. So that's important. And Jake, how about you?
Well, yeah, I'm Jake Dornford. I started the business probably 8 years ago and started off just doing renovating, extensions, kitchen renos, the small bathrooms. Yeah. And then we sort of, probably 3 years in, started doing bigger stuff. And as Nico came on, we had more capacity to take on those larger jobs, doing extensions and new homes. And for the last 4 years, since COVID really boosted the building industry, and we've sort of grown a lot. And then from there, we've been doing homes and extensions, probably about 20, 30 jobs a year.
And you're a builder
by
trade
builder.
as well?
Yeah, I'm a carpenter builder. So I started my trade doing carpentry, general building, and then I moved up into doing project managing and now being a builder.
I definitely want to talk a little bit more later about how COVID was a big springboard for the industry. I think that's really interesting, considering for a lot of industries took a lot of business away. Yeah. For the building industry, it seems to have done the opposite, which is really cool. Today we're talking about design and then build versus design and build. And as someone who has never owned or built a home, this is very foreign language to me. So first of all, what does it all mean?
Cool. So design then build probably isn't the right terminology for it, but it's the best thing we could come up with. But that is where you go and find an architect or a draftsperson without consultating a builder at all. And then you talk with the architect, come up with an idea, design the house, and then you go out to tender with builders. And you might go to 3, 4, 5 builders, and you're really competing on cost at that point of time. But it's like if you design a cake and then you take it to 3 different bakers, and then you're like, can I create this cake? They're all going to have a different way to make it, and different strategies around that, where design and build is the designer and builder collaborate with the client and make sure everyone's on the same page to build a project that is going to be buildable, feasible, and beautiful at the end of the day to then really to make sure it gets built.
So when you do a design and build, you bring the builder in early. They make sure that you're covered from the beginning, that you're looked after. So they're responsible for, the things that sometimes the designer might miss, making sure that, it stays feasible and that you continue throughout the process to make sure everything's covered. So
what would be the pros and cons for both? Because I guess people are probably thinking, well, do I go down this path or do I go down this path? Jake, what would you say are some of those pros and cons?
Definitely the pros with going with an architect is you get their name that comes along with the design. You're going to get something that is definitely not been thought about before.
Unique to them.
Very unique to that designer. Now, going to a building and design sort of model, we've obviously got connections with architects, connections with designers. We've got at Dornford, we've got our own in-house designers that we work closely with. And from the very first get-go, we understand the costings that are involved, and we can advise our clients, hey, that is a costly thing, or this isn't very costly, and then we design to their budgets.
Because I imagine if you're going through this as someone who's never built their own home, you just have no clue what is costly and what is affordable and what is actually fair and reasonable to be expecting. So it's important to have someone who can be a bit of a barometer in that 100%. Situation.
And I think one of the things to keep in mind as well is responsibility. So who takes responsibility? If you just have a designer or just have an architect, they're responsible for the plans, but then there's that sort of awkward in-between moment where, is the builder responsible for this? Is the architect or the designer responsible for this? And when it comes to actually building, sometimes things are missed on site, but then it's, hey, he said, she said, is it the architect's problem? Is it the builder's problem? Who covers the cost? And unfortunately, the client ends up covering the cost most of the time if it's not clear sort of whose responsibility it is. But if you do that design and build piece from the beginning, the builder's been there from the start. So they're responsible and they should be looking after you.
And this is obviously something that Dornford can help with on either
100%.
side. So what are we going to chat about next time, guys?
Designing with kids in mind.
Oh, okay.
Whether or not to extend or to knock down and rebuild.
Yeah.
So basically designing with your family in mind for the future.
Looking forward to that. I feel like I'm learning a lot already, even in the last few minutes, about the industry, because it is so vast. And I think for people who are maybe looking to get into the property market, a lot of people are maybe looking at buying something that's existing, but there's always option to also build as well. And in this day and age, it's probably a really popular option too.
It is. Extensions are looking very promising at the moment.
For sure. We're going to talk about that a little bit more next time with Jake and Nico from Dornford Building Group for Building for Life, a new segment here on Maz for the Drive Home. And if you've got a topic or a question for Jake and Nico, let us know. You can text in 0430 25 1079 and remain anonymous if you so wish as well. Guys, thank you and looking forward to next time.
Thanks so much, Maz.